today is April 5th, 2019. We're here in Fanjin Library interviewing George Chunyi Cho. My name is Priscilla Lee.
My name is Zoe Clark.
Okay, and we're interviewing him for the Houston Asian American Archive. Okay, so we'll start out with where and when you were born.
I was born in Taoyuan, Taiwan, on July 11, 1934.
And can you describe your childhood?
My childhood is quite happy. During that time is under the occupation of Japan and before the Second World War. So when I was in the childhood, particularly in the elementary school, after school, we always get together to play the army fight. And the class is divided into two, the white army and the red army. And each one has the leader, and then we fight for fun. And after the fight, then we all went to a restaurant which is Toro Guru, which is our favorite, favorite delight, and everybody get one bowl for that. So that's the major childhood activities.
Okay. So what kind of food do they serve at that restaurant? Was it Taiwanese or Japanese food?
It's a Taiwanese.
Taiwanese, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you tell us about your father's occupation?
Oh, you want to ask?
Yes, go ahead.
I was born when my father was a policeman. And during the Japanese occupation, police is a very well-respected profession. And in order to become a policeman, you have to go through the examination, which is very tough because most of the people don't have the education at that time. And my father is one of the very few to go through the elementary school education. But the entrance examination for the police is much higher. They are at the high school level. So therefore my father has to do the self-education in order to accomplish that. So during the examination day, they have 3 subjects. And you go through the examination, and then right after the test, they will grade it and then announce who passed the examination. So the first subject is math, but the math would include the algebra and all higher level, not just the math. So therefore, after the first test, more than half was cut off. So only those who pass the math examination can enter for the next subject examination. And the next one is science. Yes? Yeah, it's a science. So then you go through the science and then go finally to the literature. So after the 3 examinations, they were told that those who are accepted would be notified by mail. So my father at that time was a salesman of the clothes material, and he has to travel around Taiwan, and then live for about 1 week or so. So one day, my mother received a letter of the acceptance letter, and they are very excited about it. The problem is they didn't know where my father is. So they have only 1 week, and after 1 week, if you don't report in, which means you give up. So they are very, very nervous about what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden in the late afternoon, my father came home. So after he saw the letter, he was very excited, and the following day, he ran into police academy and reported in. That's how he became the police. And so he was very unusual for our whole family.
What did your mother do?
My mother is a housekeeper,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And we have, they have 11 children to take care. So my mother was very busy, just take care of the children, and was very busy.
So what kind of principles did your father and mother raise you up on?
Uh,
What kind of principles, like what did they teach you, I
Oh.
guess?
The principle is that it's very simple. They want us to be honest. We never lie, and we are responsible for what we do. The second one, they want us to become a good man, so you can serve the whole mankind with your whole life. So that's the only two principles they taught us.
Was there a certain thing that your father said how you could serve mankind? Like, were there, I think my friend helped me translate some of the book.
How did you choose to serve mankind then?
The serve for the mankind, of course, there are many, many things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all depend on your interest also. And my father at that time discussed with me, what should I do for the mankind? And the main thing, he said, the life at that time is very poor. So if we can do anything in medicine, medical, or pharmacy, that would really help people's health. And that would be a major accomplishment and improvement of the human life.
How was it, or what was your, like, the financial status of your family?
The financial situation is poor.
Mm-hmm.
My father was born in a farm family, and the life changed after he entered the police academy and become the policeman. So the payment of the policeman is good. It's not very poor. So actually, we should be able to have a good life if our sister and brothers only one or two. But the problem is that we have 11, my parents have 11 kids. So the total 13 really make the salary very insufficient. So therefore, I remember my sisters, they all try to weave the head. And this is a labor they do to earn a little bit of the income. And that's how they try to make up the financial difficulty.
Did you have to work any other jobs when you're growing up?
When I grow up, even when I was in graduate school, I always keep more than 2 jobs. And actually, as a graduate student, I also work part-time for 6 jobs. So my income at that time is not bad because the professor's income at that time is Taiwan dollar of 1,000. And I was making 6,000 a month. So actually it's pretty good. So the reason I have to do this is because the family need money. So I work very hard, extra work, and then try to make up and help the parents' financial situation.
How was your schooling, like in elementary, middle, and high school?
Entry?
Yeah, or what did you like to study in school when you were a child in Taiwan?
Oh, I went to Hsinchu Medical School,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the best in Taiwan, not just locally Hsinchu. So Hsinchu University, Hsinchu Middle School is very famous in Taiwan. Everybody very respectful for this middle school. And my entrance examination at that time was after the Second World War, and Japanese occupancy changed to Chinese occupancy, and the entrance date changed from spring to the fall. So as a result, I lost 1 year. Actually, I lost half year, but it turned out to be 1 year, for entering the middle school. And since the school is very good, so there's no problem of the study. And at that time, we don't, still too young, so we don't work for money. So at that time, all I earn is a scholarship from school, which is automatically go to the first prize to the best academic record. So every semester I get one, so that will help my family. And my mother used to say, it's not bad, you go to school to study and still earn the money. So, which was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, middle school's money is not that much. When I entered the Taiwan University, then the scholarship is big. Because at that time, there's only one scholarship for the whole department and from Pfizer of America. And Pfizer is a very big drug company at that time, and they gave $5,000 scholarship, which is plenty for 1 year, living. So actually, my study, most of the money come from the scholarship.
Do you remember what it was like when it changed from Japanese occupancy to Chinese? Can you describe like some memories you have during that time period?
During that time, it was very difficult. The reason is that Chinese and Japanese is totally different language, and you don't understand what they're talking about. So usually after, well, for the examination, it's half-half, which means we have the written examination in Chinese. Then after that, then we have oral examination, which is interview by the teacher of middle school. And we are so nervous that because we don't even know what they are talking about. So for the examination, you enter the room, and there are two teachers sitting in front of you. The one asks you with Chinese, and I don't understand what he was asking for. Then the other one translates into Japanese. Then I can answer. But the answer has to be in Chinese, not in Japanese. And all I can say is, 我是邱春义，我要到这个学校来念书, something of the nature. And probably some of the answer is not what they are asking for. So that was pretty tough. But everybody is like that. So after we entered middle school, then the problem is that we have morning meeting, which the principal will give you a speech. Every morning he will give about 10 minutes speech, and we listened carefully, but didn't catch anything. So that was a difficult time. Then of course they teach Chinese every day. So we learned it very quickly.
Okay.
So Dad, basically, Japanese is your first language,
Yes,
and Mandarin is your second language.
right.
Okay. So your parents also spoke Japanese?
Hmm?
Your parents spoke Japanese to you growing up?
Yeah, while I was growing up, we still speak Japanese. The reason is that my sisters and brothers, they are all older than me, except one younger sister. All the rest are above me, and they all talk Japanese. So that's why I keep Japanese very well, writing and reading, and even after I come to the States, I was invited to Japan to give a talk, to give a seminar, and in Kyoto University. Kyoto is, Tokyo and Kyoto are the top university in Japan. And they asked me, how would you present, in Japanese or English? I said, I can speak Japanese. They were so pleased. So at that time, because of the Timor discovery, I was invited all over the world and to give a talk. And after my talk in Japanese, the professor there say, you sounds like a all-time our Chinese Japanese student sent to Japan, and now just come back to give a talk, because my Japanese sound very classic and authentic, not like the modern Japanese. They're all changed. And in there, they put a lot of English word in the new Japanese language. So I was surprised. I didn't make that much difference.
Cool. So let's go back to like when you went to university. What did you choose to study?
Pharmacology.
Pharmacology?
Yes.
Okay. And that was like a natural path since when you talked to your father about how you could give back to mankind or serve mankind, like were you on that path from the beginning?
Yes, well, when I entered the university, the university I entered is pharmacy. So therefore, I continue to pharmacology in the States. And the reason I went to Vanderbilt was that I told my professor, Dr. C.Y.D. Li Zhenyuan, he was world famous. He became the president of International Toxicology Society. Excuse me. And at that time, he asked me, where do you like to go? I said, I don't have any idea which school is good. He said, one school, which is very good, is Vanderbilt University. Apply for it. I said, okay. Anyone was there from Taiwan? He said, no, you'll be the first one. I said, oh, okay, I will try. So when I applied for it, I was accepted immediately. And why I was a little bit wondering why I can get in so easily. I was later find out it's because my application has university principal, president recommendation letter, and I find out later from Taiwan University why I have the recommendation. After he said the president write only one letter for each department every year for applying to the United States, and I was the only one in pharmacy school, and that probably is the reason I was accepted. And also the recommendation including Dr. C.Y.D., who is, as I said, he's very famous, and he has recommended, although he didn't get the Nobel Prize, but he was recommended to get the Nobel Prize 3 times in his lifetime. So I was very well received by Vanderbilt University.
So you worked in Dr. C.Y.D., is that?
Yes, Li Zhenyuan.
Li Zhenyuan.
Yeah.
Did you work in his lab? you
Yes.
said? Okay.
Yes, before I come to the United States, I worked in Taiwan as a graduate student, and I was his graduate student. at that time.
So what were your like plans for your career? Going to college, were you thinking you wanted to do research as a career?
Well, in the college, I was influenced quite a bit by Dr. Lee. Originally, I thought when I went to the college, I went to pharmacy school, and after graduation, I thought I can be a pharmacist. But I find out pharmacist is a very monotonous, boring job because you can't pill every day. That's not fun. And at that time, I was influenced quite a bit by few good research-oriented professors. So at that time, so before graduation, then I decided I want to be the professor, not the pharmacy pharmacist. So in order to be a research-oriented professor, Dr. Lee told me, you got to go to the United States to learn more. Then you can come back to work for Taiwan. So I took his advice and went to United States. But after graduation, then I had the opportunity to go to the best pharmacology department, which is University of Iowa. And then after the postdoc graduate work and postdoc training, then I was offered a job to go to University of Florida. So I stuck in the United States, and in 1972, Dr. Lee told me, now you are good enough, so you can come back to Taiwan. And he was a dean of the medical school. So he said he wanted to offer me the department head of pharmacy school. But my mother turned it down. My mother said it's very important to let the kids, which is Linda and Faye. I have two daughters. And she said, although she doesn't have a very high degree, but she said the education is much better in the States than in Taiwan. So she preferred I stay in the States to let the kids finish the education. But then the story moves on. After the kids graduate, I'm very well established in the field. So now I cannot even leave. So I stay in the States.
What was like when you came to the United States? Were your parents supportive of you?
No. My parents absolutely objected my going abroad. The reason is that my eldest brother, he went to Thailand when he was 19 and never come back. So he said, I have 3 sons, and one went out, didn't come back. You are the second one want to go to the States, and if you don't come back, then I have only one left. And so they rejected my wish. Actually, my eldest brother, when he want to go abroad, my parents objected as well. At that time, he want to go to Thailand for education and business, which is a very rare opportunity for him. He want to go, my parents would not let him to. So he decided he'll stop eating. He have the hunger strike until my parents allow him to. So my parents told me, if you can get your eldest brother come home from Thailand, then I will let you go. And obviously that's impossible. So that's why then I married with my wife. I have 2 kids at that time. So then I renegotiate with my parents. I say, now, I have wife, I have 2 kids, and they stay with you. And I myself will go to the States. So that would be very safe. So I can come back. They think, yeah, that's reasonable. So I went to. But then my wife had a good strategy. She built a house for my parents and left some money for them to spend. Then I told my parents, now you have the house, you have the money, so you don't need to worry about whether I'm back or not. And of course, I'll come back to visit, but not necessarily to leave. So that's why they finally agreed for me to go.
Okay. So they're under that, is it like a tradition for the son to come back and take care of his parents? Were they under that, like?
Well,
Like,
taking care of my parents
mhm.
is not the problem because I have so many sisters. Excuse me. In Taiwan. So even we were in the States, my sister, they all live in there.
Okay. And what was,
And you were sending money every month.
Oh, no, the after I come to the States, although I have the full scholarship, actually I was tuition free, and then $300 a month. That was my money I get from Vanderbilt University. And $300 is not the big money. And I spend $50 for the rent. And the rest of $250, I spend $50 for the living. So each month, I have only $50 left. So I don't spend a penny for anything else. Not the clothing or a trip to anywhere, something like that. So every month I can have $50 left. So about $50. And in about 3-4 months, I can save about one full $100. Then I send it back to my parents. And at that time, $100 US is very big money, which is $4,000, which is equivalent to the salary of 4 professors. So they are very happy. They say you go to school and still can earn money, which just like you were in middle school.
So did you have any expectations coming to the United States?
My expectation at that time was trying to get a PhD, which is most important. And after I get my PhD, I got my PhD in a very short period of time, the shortest for the university. And most of the people get PhD, spend 5+ years to get one, and I get only 2.5 years to get the PhD. So when my wife told my friends and said my husband is getting a PhD soon, they said, "Oh, you made a mistake. It's a master degree, not PhD." But actually, I got a PhD. So after the PhD was awarded, then Dr. J.P. Long in University of Iowa immediately offered me the fellowship for postdoctoral training. And at that time, $9,000 a year is a very big money. It's probably one of the highest postdoctoral fellowship. And I work with him in Iowa for 1 year, then to Florida.
How old were you when you went to the University of Iowa?
I went there in '39, when I was 39 years old. So, which means I was in the States for 9 years. Moved from graduate student to postdoc and to assistant professor at that time. And it's very interesting. A couple of years later, I became the department head of Texas A&M University, and I have a friend came to the States with me. He was still in graduate school, and I was already department head.
So what do you think allowed you to finish, like go so quickly through your through the physicians and like get your PhD so quickly? What would you like attribute that to?
What time did you go to the lab in the morning?
Go to the lab?
Yeah,
do you-
what time did you start your research day, Dad?
Yeah, usually I'm an early bird, so therefore I sleep very early. And during the summertime, the sun is still hanging there before sunset. I'm already in the bed. And then I wake up at the middle of the night, and then I eat breakfast very quickly, and then go to laboratory because no one is giving the lecture. So I go there at about 2 or 3 o'clock, very early. So the whole day is black. So that's why I met 2 bad guys who robbed me and asked me for money. And if I don't pay the money, I know I will be hurt. So usually I keep at least $5 in my wallet. So if big guy came over, I ready to show him my wallet and say, this $5 is all I have. And at that time, $5 is not too small. It's not too bad. So usually he would take it. In both times, he took it and said, thank you. Then left.
Was this at Vanderbilt? While you're, was this while you were in Nashville? Or-
Nashville,
Oh,
Nashville, yes.
Nashville, okay.
As a graduate student.
I think, yeah. How was your fluency in English when you came to the United States?
Well, at the beginning, my English was very poor. Because in Taiwan, I learned how to read, how to write. So when I come to the States, the biggest thing bothers me is spoken English, because it doesn't follow the grammar. And for instance, you talk to the people, you say, me too. I say, what is me too? It doesn't make any sense. You have to say I too, right? You cannot say me too. Something like that. So there is a whole bunch of this question. So in addition to my poor hearing practice and speaking practice, the whole English sounds different to me at that time when I first came over. So that was improved, of course, very quickly. Then I learned, okay, so spoken English is not real English. So I improved it very, very quickly.
Okay. How is like going to restaurants like in America? Like, how did you know what to order?
Going to restaurant is a challenge. Actually, I started afraid of going to restaurant. The first time I went to restaurant was when I ride the Greyhound bus all the way from Los Angeles to Nashville at that time. And that was 60 hours ride straight. So you got to stop somewhere, and the bus will stop and allow you to go to order something to eat. So I enter, everybody's ordering things and looks very happy. I was the only one who didn't know how to order it. So I said, I want to eat steak. They said, what? I said, steak. There. I said, oh, it's a steak. So that's the first time I said, steak, not the stick you want to eat. So the language problem is something which most of us take it for granted. You know, steak is steak. You never say stick, right? But when you read the English, it can read the stick, something like that. But after that, I learned how to order steak. So later on in my life, every time I go to the restroom, to the restaurant, I always order the steak. I don't order anything else.
Like you didn't want to try other types of food, or
Because I don't know,
you didn't?
I don't want to take the risk.
Um,
This is a big venture for me.
so when did your family reunite with you? Like your two daughters and your wife, because they were in Taiwan with your
Yeah.
mom.
They in Taiwan. Your
Mhm.
question is
Like when did they immigrate?
oh, I came in 1964, and they came in 1966.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 1.5 years later. So when they come to the States, my friends in graduate school, they said, boy, you are very brave to bring wife and children. And most of them didn't even marry. So they said, how can you survive, with your scholarship and three additional family members? I said, well, I have to take them because my wife say she won't come. And my wife has a very strong will. Some people say that when a man succeeds, you got to have some great lady behind you. And that is the typical one. When she said she wants to come, she will. And unlike me, she was born and grow in a very rich family in Taiwan. So financially, he has no problem of coming to the States. So they came over, and of course that's why even today, all my financial question is controlled by my wife. I don't have a right to spend a penny. Everything has to ask her first. Without her approval, I cannot spend the money.
So how did you meet your wife?
Huh?
How did you meet your wife?
Oh, that was, you cannot believe, during the old time, it was introduced by the people. And she was introduced to me by my relative. And that's how we get to know each other. And somehow we like each other. So very quickly we engaged and married.
When did you get married? When? When did you get married?
Oh, it's 1961.
How long did it take for you to feel comfortable in America?
Actually, I feel comfortable relatively quickly. The reason is that, my English is poor in the spoken English, but I learned it very quickly because my grammar is good, my writing, reading and writing, everything is good, so I can pick it up very quickly. So the language problem, disappeared, so which is very good. The second thing, of course, during 1960s, discrimination still is a very serious problem in the United States, particularly in the southern area, like Nashville, Texas, these southern areas, you have lots of racial discrimination. But fortunately, I was in academia, so unless I go out countryside, I don't really face that local residents who are quite discriminate you. For example, one time we drove the car outside and somehow the tire, had the trouble, so I have to fix the tire. And I went to the garage and want to do it. The people there don't even want to listen to you. So this is the problem. And I have to wait because I have no place to go. And the tire is broken, so I waited for a long, long time until they took care of all the customers, then come to me and say, so what do you want? I said, he didn't need to ask because the tire is broken. So he didn't say anything. Replace it and charge me. That's it. They don't even bother to talk to me. So this kind of place, you can really feel the discrimination. And fortunately, I don't face it every day because I go to school. I was in academia, and the kids went to school. So that's not the problem. So I get used to it very quickly.
How was it like going to like the grocery store?
The grocery store, now that is just like going to countryside. You have to face all kind of people in the public. So the ladies over there are not very friendly, the checkout ladies. So when I buy something, and they will give you, just throw it to you. And don't bother to, put it nicely in the bag or something like that. So sometimes it's really hurting. You are very hard to swallow it. One day, I found out the lady made a big mistake. My item is 69 cents. And she put 96 cents, 10, 6, and 9 reversed. I said, excuse me, lady, you charged me wrong. It's 69, not 96. Said, oh, no problem. We return the money to you. So she took the paper, pen, calculator. Now subtraction, they cannot do it. They spend a whole bunch of time. And I said, just take it 27 cents out, and that's it. I said, no, you cannot guess it. We have to be accurate. I said, oh, okay, you make it accurate. And after all calculations, she got to 5 or 6 different answers. So you listen. Her superior came over. Said, what's the problem? They said, 69 and 96. I reverse it. I said, oh, get a computer. At that time, although it's new, but they have the calculator. So, yeah, take 27 cents out. So, oh, you guessed it right. And after that, I went to the same store, buy anything, C was very respectable for me. He said, he can do subtraction.
I guess we can start talking about your research with Timolol, the glaucoma drop.
Mhm.
Can you describe like how you came with that research?
How to come to Timolol for glaucoma
Yeah.
treatment?
Mhm.
Well, actually, I was a autonomic pharmacologist, which means, of course, pharmacology has a big area, and my area is autonomic pharmacology. And autonomic pharmacology has two major parts. One is cholinergic, and one is adrenergic. And the glaucoma drug is a cholinergic drug, which is physostigmine or neostigmine, something like that. And at that time, the whole world are using cholinergic drug. But since I was autonomic pharmacologist, I want to try adrenergic part as well. And adrenergic part have adrenergic agonist and antagonist. And I want to study all of them. So I wrote a NIH proposal, sent it to NIH, apply for grant, and my proposal was quickly approved, so I can get the money. Except that they said, NIH said, you don't need to do the adrenergic part because it doesn't work. And you just work on cholinergic. But since your proposal is good, we'll give you the full funding. Today, NIH will ask you to do more job and half of the funding. And I was reverse. I get the full funding with half of the job. So after I get the money, I told my graduate student, just do it anyway, because they gave me the money, so just try it. And one of them we tried is a new drug from Merck Sharp and Dohme, which is a anti-hypertension drug at that time. So I said, well, try this one also. I see what's going to happen. And when we tried, the student came back and said, boy, Dr. Cho, this one worked. I said, well, you must grab the blown bottle for the testing, which, always happen. And if you use pilocarpine, which is a drug which is originally used for glaucoma, and of course, it would work. But suddenly, no, I don't think I grabbed the wrong bottle. I said, well, no, you repeat it anyway. So I cannot believe the result. So he went back. And 2 days later, he said, Dr. Cho, this is for real, the intraocular pressure drug. So then I decided that this must be a real good thing happen. And that was the discovery of Timolol for glaucoma. So a lots of great discovery come by accident. Not necessarily you plan. And you get it for wrong reason. So it's very interesting.
Oh, wait, what university were you at when you discovered the drug?
Receive one?
Were you at the University of Florida or Texas A&M?
That was done in Florida.
Florida, okay.
Yeah. 1978, about 77, 78 is the year the drug was put in the market.
Okay.
And at the same time, I moved to Texas A&M. So actually, this happened between two schools, and everyone will say, yeah, from Florida, and someone say, no, it's from A&M. Yeah, actually, both are right.
I guess what was that like seeing, was that was that the first drug you had on market, or had you had previous, like medications on the market? Is it like the first time your research became like something that could be sold in the market, or had you had previous research where you're able to like invent something and sell it?
Culture you are.
Huh?
It's the first medicine that went on market that you were.
Yes,
Oh,
this is the first one. First
Okay,
one.
first
Yeah.
one. Okay. Oh,
And that's a big excitement. Before this drug was put in the market, the market income is very small. And with Timro put in the market, the glaucoma drug jumped 9.5 times higher income. It's not the patient increase, it's just because of the new drug. So this was very exciting. And in the past, before 1978, the whole world didn't care about eye drug development or eye drug production. So if you are a big company, you don't want to say you are an eye drug producer. But after 1978, if you don't say we also produce eye drugs, then you are not a biggest first-class pharmaceutical company. So that's how it changed. The world completely changed. So at that time, the CBS Evening News, before you were born, the evening reporter is Walter Cronkite. And Walter Cronkite at that time say this drug is a magic drug of the century. So all of a sudden, it's exploded.
How did you start researching like drugs for glaucoma?
How to start?
How did you start on that research topic? Like, what led you to research? Yeah.
As I said, originally I was an autonomic
Oh, okay, yes.
pharmacologist,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
And
It just
you just switch it.
it just switched. Okay. And then you went to Texas A&M for which position?
Department head,
Okay.
yeah.
And you were
I-
the first one?
I went there as usually people is a professor and then advanced to department head. And I jumped from associate professor at the University of Florida, then went to Texas A&M as professor and department head. at the same time. And this, of course, has a big help from Dr. Allen Bass and John Long. Allen Bass, as I mentioned, was at Vanderbilt department head, and he was also the president of the American Association of Pharmacology. John Long was the department head of #1 pharmacology department in the States. And both of them are very nice to me, and they know that I'm interested to become the department head. So they always receive a request of nomination of the department head from all over the nation. And both found the request from Texas A&M, and they told them that George Cho should be interested. So then I received a phone call from Texas A&M, and Evan Smith, Dr. Smith was the acting dean at that time. And he called me and said, would you be interested in the department head position at Texas A&M? I said, sure. If everything is good, then I will be happy to accept. So he said, then why don't you come over right away? I said, okay, I will try to buy a ticket and see what happened. Then the second day I called him back. I said, I'm sorry, all the tickets are sold out and I cannot go to A&M. He said, oh, don't worry. At that time, the airplane between Houston and College Station is a private airline owned by the university. So he said, don't worry, we'll send an airplane and pick you up. I said, airplane to pick me up? That is unusual. And then they really sent the airplane and picked me up and flew to College Station. That's why I had the interview done, and then they wanted me.
And were you the first department head?
Yes,
Okay, so it
Yes.
was newly opened.
newly opened 1978. I came to Texas A&M, but the school opened 2 days before 78.
What school?
Hmm?
What school?
Medical school. Yeah, medical school start 1976. But then when you first started, kids doesn't need to study pharmacology until they are second year student. So they started without the department head. And then in 1978, they decided to hire a department head, so I came over.
Okay. What was that like, interacting, like being in a new position? Like you said, it was like a big jump from associate professor. How did you feel going into that role?
It's very interesting that not only I'm the regular department head of pharmacology, I also a brand new position. So that I designed the department for the building without knowing much of the architecture, with pencil and paper. I draw the picture, how it should be like, something of that nature. So it was highly challenging. I did lots of things which I didn't know how to do it before, and I learned it myself.
Do you have any questions, Zoe?
Try to think.
Did you hold any other positions other than department head eventually at the medical school?
Yes, I was offered to work as actually, I have multiple functions at that time. One of them is associate dean of the school, so that in charge of medical research and the graduate program. So that was in addition to the department head job. So I have two offices. One is associate dean office, then department head office. So I have two of them. Then I also worked as the chief editor of the Journal of Ocular Pharmacology and Therapeutics, which also is very heavy-duty, busy one, and I use one secretary solely, handling, because the manuscript come in, send it out for review and all that kind of stuff. So I did all this all together by myself. And then I published more than 10 papers, which is about half of the whole department head. So the faculty cannot complain. So I'm not concentrate enough on the job, although I have done so many things. I still publish much more than what they are doing.
How did you deal with moving so often? Like you and your family moving so often? How was that difficult?
Moving, that's a very interesting question. When I first come to the States, I went to Vanderbilt University, and as you know, there are quite a discriminatory atmosphere at that time. So to grant a room is not easy. You see a sign there, room for rent, and you knock the door and say, I'd like to rent a room. Say, sorry, it's been rented. Well, actually, it's a lie, but you see this all the time, and then once you move in a place, they would complain to you, you didn't follow this, you didn't follow this, and lots of complaint. And basically, they don't want you to stay there. So I have to force most of my time after school. I was trying to find a place to live most of the time. And during that 1 year, I moved 10 times. And I have to do that. It's not my desire or my pleasure, but you have to face it. So if you say did you face any discrimination? Yes. But what can you do? Well, you cannot do anything. You know, if you complain, so who is going to help you? So that's why. So by the time my family came over, we didn't move because at that time we lived in one place and then moved to the university dormitory, which was very, very lucky to be able to get the place. And the place we live, when the family come over, it's a very bad area. There's no safety at all. So at that time, after I was eager to find another place, you know, the reason I was robbed is because I walk early in the morning, so I was robbed. And the place where we live, after we moved out, the new one came in and they got killed. They just entered from the window and killed the lady and tried to rob. I don't know the details, but so that was a terrible situation. So to move, I have lots of experience, not very pleasant.
What are your current research projects, if you have any? If there
Now?
was, yeah, now, are you doing any research right
Oh.
now?
Now I still working on research, mainly in Taiwan. I have a couple of professors who came to my lab in College Station before. They are now in Taiwan Medical University, and they are helping me to doing the research in the laboratory. And what happened is that I have the project with a pharmaceutical company, and then try to work on developing a new drug for the treatment of diabetic retinopathy. Now, diabetic retinopathy, 1/3 of the patient of diabetes patient will get this disease. And this disease can cause blindness. So it's a very serious disease. The population today is about 120 million. At least 120 million. Why it's at least? Because a lot of diabetic patients didn't even to see the eye doctor and didn't even know that he or she has the diabetic retinopathy. So currently, we don't have a good drug for the treatment of this particular disease, and I'm working on it, try to develop it.
How would you identify yourself?
Well, I'd like to be identified as an inventor of novel eye drugs, and which can benefit millions and millions of the patient.
And would you say that's your proudest accomplishment so far in your life?
So far,
Mhm.
I have accomplished quite a bit. Even glaucoma alone, lots of millions of people was benefited by it. And last time I went to Taiwan, and in a meeting, there's one patient, glaucoma patient, come to, when I give a talk, she came over to the stage and give me flowers to thank me for inventing the glaucoma drug. So that's the comfort for you receive.
And then, I guess, having raised your children in the United States, did you want to also like teach them like Taiwanese / like Chinese traditions that you also were raised on, or like how was that like raising your children in the States?
Of course, the custom is very different. You know, Taiwan and United States, and we go to the Taiwanese community here in Houston, and they have all kinds of Taiwanese activities, so that's enjoyable. But of course, when you are in the States, your majority of the time is spent in an American way. So basically, you have to be Americanized.
Did you have any other questions?
Yeah, I guess when did you retire from, I guess, like being a professor?
I officially retired 2 years ago. And I don't need to retire because the university allowed me to continue to work because I was very well funded. I have lots of money for research, and the main reason I retired is Taiwan's pharmaceutical industry wanted me to go over there to help them. So I thought it's a different experience and stimulation, and also it's my motherland. So I thought at least I should do something which I can. So I agreed. But in order to do that, I have to retire from A&M. I cannot say I'm a full professor in A&M and also working for the industry. And that's why I retired. University didn't really want me to retire, but when I finally tell them, I keep postponing it until I cannot postpone any further. And then when I retire, I contribute all my research fund, which is $350,000 left behind medical school. So they really appreciate that.
So do you have to travel to Taiwan, or are you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I go to Taiwan once or twice a year,
A year.
yes.
How long do you stay when you're in Taiwan?
Usually stay about 3 weeks, and planning to make it longer in the future because there are more and more things which I need to take care of.
你要讲你的孙，你的孙，
My book?
你的孙，
Oh, one thing I like to mention about accomplishment. Most of the people, when they talk about accomplishment, they just talk about you are professional. For me, developing a IJRAC, which is a symbol of my accomplishment. But I have equally proud of my accomplishment is I have two daughters and 4 kids, 4 grandkids. The 4 grandkids, the biggest one is Margot Ebner, who graduated from Rice University, and now is a second-year medical student at McGovern Medical School next door. And the second one is Eden Ebner. She was graduated from Hopkins University, and then is going to go to medical school at McGovern from this year. There are 2 other twins who's much younger. They will graduate high school in the fall and will go to university. And Firman Tan is a boy who is accepted to Rice University early decision this year. So I have a lots of relationship with Rice. So he's going to come to Rice University in the fall, and the youngest granddaughter, she is going to go to Baylor University with a full scholarship, 80,000, which I never heard of it, which sounds pretty good. So she will go to
Michelle.
Baylor. Her name is Michelle Tan.
Okay. And what are your hopes for your grandchildren?
Oh, my hope for them is they have to do what they like to do, and most likely they all like to go to medicine. So in this way, I'd like them to work very hard for the medical world, and I'm sure the field is so large that they can do anything they can. But the principle is just like what my parents taught us before. Just try to improve the health of the human being.
So that kind of concludes our interview. Did you have
Okay,
any
thank you
last,
very much.
Yeah, did you have any last comments you wanted to make? Or
No,
You're good?
no comment. I think this is very thorough.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dr. Chiu.
Yeah, thank you very much.